What if I told you that staying broke is more expensive than getting rich fast? In this video, I want to build a small case for why we all should strive to get rich fast. Hang tight, I'll be right back. Welcome back. Have you ever added how much the lack of money is costing you? You know, that question got to me again. Last night, I was watching one of Tyler Perry's recent movies called, I think this one's called Straw. And the whole scene was built around a woman who was really struggling financially. But the whole thing showed me a reality that I was aware of and somewhat maybe forgotten. But when it hit me yesterday, I thought about what I could share with my audience. And that question of building the case to get rich because it's costly. In fact, in the movie, an old lady said something that I want to read to you because I wrote it down. I want to read it to you. And when she said that, that is what really caught my attention again. She said, people don't know how expensive it is to be poor. I'll repeat that. She said, people don't know how expensive it is to be poor. Do you know how expensive it is to be poor? That's why I want to build a case why we all need to strive and work a little harder or a little smarter or seek for information to help us get rich fast. Because as a poor person, everything costs you more than someone who has enough money. I'll give you an example. If all you can afford is to go to the grocery store and buy 3 apple fruits, 2 oranges, just the trip you make to that grocery store, which could be a 5 or 10-minute drive, let's just say, that costs you gas and that costs you time. And then because you're buying in that small quantity, you can't buy in bulk. It costs you more money because you're going to make more trips to the store and you're going to pay more per item. That's just an example. If you wanted to buy a car, and now maybe because of your poverty, chances are you may have very poor credit ratings, you're going to pay higher interest on that car loan. Even when you take a loan, you pay more interest. This really got to me yesterday as I was watching this movie because I saw how from one situation after another, it only got worse. All because she did not have enough money. Her daughter had a problem at school. They started laughing at her. She couldn't afford $40. She was waiting for her paycheck. Goes to work. The boss is giving her a hard time. She gets a call from school because an incident has happened with her daughter. She has to leave work. She's given 30 minutes to make it to make it back from school. She gets to school only to find out that her daughter now is being taken away from her by the Department of Family Services for negligence. Information that they're not preview of or know any more detail. By the time she makes it back to work, it's 2 hours later. She gets into a car accident on her way and she gets into trouble with a cop who wasn't even willing to listen to her story. And the issue just keeps unfolding. At some point, I was so grieved because I watched how poverty triggered circumstances, events that could have been avoided if she had enough resources to take care of those things ahead of time. Ask yourself that simple question. Because the trick and the deception that we have somehow accepted is that it is okay to build wealth or to grow rich slowly. And so we are taking our time. But mind you, time is not something you can get back. It's a finite resource, but it's not something you can get back. I can get my money back if I spend it or if I waste it or if I do something. I can get it back. The time, we can't get it back. So much so that even the scripture admonishes us that we should redeem our time because the days are evil. And I know I'd made another video. I'll probably post it up in one of these areas where I talked about redeeming our time. But if you think about that passage of scripture, if you're a Christian and you want to look it up, go to Ephesians chapter 5, verse 16. The question is, how can you and I redeem our time if we are already trading more of it in exchange for money? Because the whole idea of redeeming your time, that word redeem, it simply means to buy back. So how can I buy back my time when I'm trading a lot of it in exchange for money? Think about it. That is why I want to make this case that we have to find a way to get rich quickly, because that is the quickest way I can redeem my time. Because if I don't have to go to work, because I have enough financial resources to take care of me, I have my time that I can now utilize for something else. That is why this is so profound and so crucial. This one is really emotional for me. It's really emotional for me. After watching that movie, it's like it erupted something in me again. And I just want to encourage my audience. If you're watching, really ask yourself this question. How long are you going to sit on the sideline? How long are you going to keep hoping? In fact, because there's another scripture that when I read one time, I think this is Proverbs chapter 10, verse 13. It says, hope deferred makes the heart sick. And some of us, that's where we have arrived. We are sick now because there's something we have been hoping for so long and it hasn't happened yet because it kept being deferred. But could it be that that hope which you have and why it's been deferred is a result of poverty, the result of ignorance, the result of you not knowing how to go about executing what you're hoping for? Because a lot of times we just think things will happen. We receive promises, could be from God, or we see a glimpse of what could be, but we never make the effort to work it out, to make it happen. It's not about you putting the effort, but it's about you understanding what you need to do, the part you need to be responsible for to bring about that which you really hope for. It is painful. And a lot of us, we have gotten sick. How do I know that? When I start talking to people and I hear them say things like, well, uh, you know, how there's a usual phrase that people use. You ask them, how are you doing? Well, same shit another day. Well, hey, in pidgin you say, mind the just manage. Hey, I'm just here. Most of the time that echoes that you've gotten to the place where you've given up and that you've accepted life as it is to you. You've accepted it. You've resorted to a place where you feel like, there's no need striving any further or striving any harder. Where I am, this is where I'm going to be. I'm just going to do what I can, do the best at this level and stay there. That is not being content, because there's a difference between contentment and and willing to do something, or maybe ambition. Those two are not antagonistic. They are not opposing forces. You can be content and still yet want to achieve more. We need to find a way to get rich quick, because everything that we do, as long as we are in a poverty state, it's costing us way more than we can think of. Way more, way more. In fact, if you think about another scripture that says the borrower is slave to the lender. Think about that. If the borrower is slave to the lender, I'm yet to find if there is a passage that or a passage of scripture that God says, you should take your time to get out of slavery. If you already know that the borrower is going to be slave to the lender, you want to be taking your time to get out of slavery? We have to find a way to do better. But we can't if we don't know any better. And that's why I'm passionate about what I share on my channel, because it's about helping us to become aware of what is going on around us. Because all transformation begins with awareness. All transformation begins with awareness. I can never free you from a prison if you are not first aware that you are in one. So I hope this short video today can help you. Take some time to evaluate for yourself the things that have been costing you so much. Because you may not be aware of it, you may not see it that way. But if you take inventory, you would realize that poverty is more expensive. Take a leap of faith. There could be something that had happened to you in some time past, a skill that you exhibited, something, a talent, and you ignored it. But I want you to remember a woman in scripture who rushed to a prophet for help. And the question the prophet asked her was, "What do you have in your house?" And she said, "I have nothing but just a small container of oil." And that's how most of us are. We ignore what we have because it looks small. You have nothing but. You can only do but. What is it that you can do but? It's just this. That little thing that you're thinking about could be the way your breakthrough, which you've never considered. But do that today. Because here's my last question I want to leave with you. How much is poverty silently costing you every year? And how much longer are you willing to pay that bill? This is my time for today. I never close without saying this. With all of your getting, get understanding. Have a great day.